Hello and happy Tuesday. It is another episode of Excellence in Everything Live. Super excited about tonight's topic, improving your articulation and pronunciation, both areas that I really had to work hard to get better at. And I'm excited. We're going to jump into tonight's topic right after today's intro. You are excellence. Your mind is of excellence. Your visions are of excellence. Your unique superpower is nothing short of excellence. You amplify a voice of excellence. Your contribution to this world will be of excellence. You will achieve your highest goals and desires with excellence. Excellence in everything, every time. Hey family, it is Tuesday. It's my favorite day of the week because I get to spend that time with you live. If you've not yet met me, my name is Lanita Hostin, and I call myself an edutainer. An edutainer is a combination of taking something that is education related but presenting it in an entertaining way. I've been doing that for 10 years, and I posted a video last week about how I wasn't always as polished as people describe me to be today, and the feedback was incredible. So it inspired me to do this series. Public speaking is a soft skill. And on my platform, what we do is we empower Black moms to improve their soft skills so that they can have better connections with their teenage children. So, what I did there, if you've been following me for 10 years, I reverse engineered my work. So, a lot of people know me as a youth speaker primarily, working in K through 12 and higher ed and traveling the country on particularly college campuses. But what I find is that a lot of the students, young adults that I was meeting had a lot of barriers in their mindset pertaining to how their parents raised them, how they spoke to them, the memories that they had that stuck deeply with them. So I just reverse engineer my work to target Black moms because those are typically the people who hire me. Not that I couldn't work with any other kind of mom, but I just target those who typically hire me, and so that I could support the whole family unit. So I'd say a portion of my work is still speaking. Some of it is training, some of it is curriculum development. But one of the most common questions I always get, no matter what kind of work I'm doing, is how did you learn to speak that way? And that is why, or one of the reasons why I was inspired by tonight's topic. So if you're watching live, let me know that you're here. You can type in the comments and I can see them. Type in I am here. And if you happen to catch the replay, you can type in hashtag replay. And if you know someone who is looking to improve their speech, whether that be articulation or pronunciation, be sure to share this with them. If you're streaming on YouTube, go ahead and click like and subscribe. I appreciate your following. All right. So, as I mentioned to you, I got started in this work when I was young. I was 22. I actually did not think I was good enough. I didn't like the idea of being in front of people. I still don't, actually. And I would prefer to always be in the background. But God finds his way to move me to the front. But these are just some images of my journey and the kinds of stages that I've been on. The largest audience that I've been in front of was probably 6,000 people, and that was at Towson University. So I am no stranger when it comes to being in front of people. I can tell you what I was a stranger of was being around people who had fluid and articulate speech. So articulation is just it's a distinct sound in speech. It is like it's something that you can around your face, around your teeth, around your cheeks and your lips, moving them as wide as you can. And so you can do that from your home. You can do that in the shower. One of the things that I do when I'm preparing for something, let's say Mother's Day is coming up. Let's say you plan on doing a tribute at your office or at your church, and you are preparing to speak. If you have the remarks, what you can practice doing is practice saying your remarks using all of the muscles in your face. So use your cheeks, use your jaw, use your lips. And you doing that continuously will begin to train your mouth. It's kind of like when you train your body to ride a bike. What begins to happen when you first start to ride a bike, you have to think really hard about pedaling and balancing. But after you've ridden a bike for some time, you don't have to think about pedaling. You don't have to think about braking as much because your body remembers the function. We call it muscle memory. And so speaking is the same way. When you begin to use your cheeks and your lips, you're training yourself to use those muscles. Over time, you don't have to think about having wide lips or using every muscle in your face, because you would have trained your speech to you would have trained the muscles in this area to work that way. So I'd say mine are trained at this point. And I can turn it off if I turn this off. So if I turned off um, attempting to speak articulately and I didn't move a lot of muscles in my face and I relaxed the muscles in my face, my speech is not as polished. It's a little blurred. Sometimes when I'm like more relaxed at home, laying down or talking to a family member, particularly my mom. And again, I'm showing you what it's like when I don't use my muscles in my face. It's not clear. My speech isn't clear at all. And in fact, my words could slur. So a lot of times my mom will ask me like, "What are you saying? I can't really understand what you're saying." So one of the things I did also notice about when I'm using this whole part of my face, it also slows me down because you can't really talk fast and move all of this. So as a form of being anxious or uncomfortable being in front of people, we tend to speed up what we are going to say so we can get the experience over with. But in speeding up, it limits your ability to slow down and to be articulate if that's your desire. So these things are very well connected. So once you begin to use all of the facial muscles, it will slow you down. And when you speak more slowly, you can be more clear. So I hope that was helpful. I am so glad that you're here. I think it's Aaliyah. Aaliyah. You're going to have to spell that out for me. And I'm so glad that that came up because that is the second point that I want to talk about tonight, which is practicing the syllables. So if you come from the kind of family I come from, we say a lot of words wrong because some of it we just don't know. Some of it we haven't heard frequently enough to know what is right or wrong. And we know that we're saying them wrong, but it's not until you get in front of people where you do not want to say something incorrectly in which you develop a conscientiousness about using it. But when we're around people that we feel comfortable with, saying things maybe incorrectly, it doesn't matter as much. My rule of thumb when I was in my early 20s and I wanted to get better at pronunciating words, my rule of thumb was not to break the speech that I was trying to train, even if I were with or around a group of people who I was relaxed and did know me well. That was the only way I could train. Remember, we talked about that muscle memory. Train my mouth to pronounce words correctly. So I don't know if you know this, but in the dictionary, it teaches you how to sound out words. So there is a speaker above every word, and you can press that speaker, and it will sound out the syllables for you. And if you're old school and you don't have the dictionary, whether this be online, this came from Google, by the way, you can identify the syllables based on these periods between them. So this would be syllable. So when you're thinking about how to, or when you come across a word and you're not sure how to say it in a correct way, you can go to Google and press this button so that it can say the word aloud. And then it's your job to actually practice the correct pronunciation of the word. So pronunciation is just the correct sound of the syllables in a word. Enunciation is a person's, an individual's pronunciation of a word. So an enunciation is very similar to articulation. It's the same thing. They're a synonym, I would say. So this is my go-to. A lot of people don't know this, but when I was at my former church where I served for 10 years, my pastor asked me to be the video announcements person when I was maybe about 25. My speech at the time, I guess to him it was good enough, but I had some deep insecurities about my speech. And I should go and play an old announcement for you guys so you can hear it. I'm going to go and pull one up. But the point I'm trying to make is I did the announcements I started them in 2015. And I left my home church in last year. So how many years is that? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Wow. 8 years. I'm telling you this because when I started the announcements, and I'm going to play one so you can actually hear what my voice sounded like 8 years ago, it sounds nothing like it sounds today. And what I'm trying to say is that these things take time. There are things that you can improve upon, but they take time and a lot of effort. Um, they take time and a lot of effort. Hey, Shanice, I'm so glad that you're here. She said, yes, I was waiting for this week. Yee! And we got to exercise too. So I want you to stand by for that one. And I'm excited. This series is probably one of my favorite, my most favorite series that I've ever done. And I'm excited to teach this stuff because, as you can see, I'm very passionate about it. And it has made me a lot of money, if I could just be honest. Okay, so this announcement that I did at my church was on January 23rd, 2015. Um, and I'm gonna play it so you can hear it. Now, I didn't play this before I went live, so I don't know how crazy it's gonna sound, but let's see. And then I'm gonna play an announcement from 2023. Let's see if it'll even play. To better serve you, the Mercy House hours have changed. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You heard that? Saturday? Did you hear that? See? Listen, this is so good. With the exception of the second Saturday of the month, where the hours are 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mercy House is open to receive your donations. On Sundays, Mercy House is also open for 30 minutes, immediately following the 7:45 and 10:45 worship service. Remember, Mercy House is your good neighbor. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but I pronounced Saturday incorrectly. And this is I'm gonna just say this. One of the things that I'm really adamant about is doing things with your highest quality of effort. That's why the show is titled Excellence in Everything Live. Someone could listen to that and say, you sound amazing to me. I would put you on my church announcements. And that's not the point. The point is your highest quality effort over time can change. So how are we aiming to transform the skills that we actually have the control to change? How are we getting better? And that is the only goal here, is not to do anything other than that. I just like to increase our level of expectation that we have of ourselves, because when we go past those boundaries, we reach heights that we never imagined that we could. I never imagined today people would pay me to talk, and I used to be insecure about my speech. And that same thing could happen for you. Maybe you don't want to be paid to speak, but you want to feel more confident in those arenas. I'm going to play one more. Let's see. Calling all joint officers to include the Ministerial Alliance, deacons, deaconess, admin assistant, and church clerk. The joint officers meeting will take place on Saturday, January. Okay, that's not too bad. So that was 2015. Another thing that I noticed is, and if you do voiceover work or you do something where your voice is used, my breathing, it needs to slow down. I sound out of breath, child. Sound very out of breath. I'm gonna play one more and then I'm gonna move on. And if you have questions, you can drop them in. So I'm gonna play an announcement from 2020. I'm gonna play one for 2020. Let's see if I can find a 21. I sound a 2020. This is all pandemic stuff. I gotta make sure I don't play a video or something else. Woo! I mean, that would be. Hold on. Let me find it. Oh, I found one. Hold on. Let's see. This is from 2021. Every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., join the Impact Youth Ministry for Triple Impact at Home. That's Bible study for all ages, segmented into 3 age groups. We pray we'll see you then. So, do you hear the difference in my voice in 8 years? We're going to shop. Now, notice I had to slow down because I already knew I wasn't going to be able to say that fast. Shoe, shine, shop. And so really slowing down to make those words very clear. Practicing your tongue twisters are a great way to do that. I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. And again, these are very practical, easy ways that you can apply to improve your speech. And I want to make sure I emphasize the point that these things, improving your speech takes time. Improving your speech takes time. Improving your speech takes time. This is not an overnight thing. So you have to be patient with yourself as your voice evolves. And these are not, you know, it's so funny. I posted this that your ability to speak up, your confidence in speaking up is invaluable. It shows up in ways sometimes we don't even realize matters to us. Certainly, advocating for ourselves in the workplace, speaking up in group settings, if you lead in any capacity, if you're giving feedback one on one, if you're giving feedback by way of a group, if you're asked to share in a meeting, the immediate sense of anxiety, the immediate sense of like, what I think is sometimes people feel inadequate in expressing themselves fluidly. That immediate sense that you have, I'm a firm believer that it can go away if we are intentional about practicing the area that we want to improve. So if you're insecure about talking because you don't feel like you don't speak as clearly as someone else does or as clearly as other people on your ministry, job, or team, what are you doing about it? How can you change that feeling that you have so that you have a more empowered feeling to speak up? I do remember when I was not as confident in my speech, I wouldn't speak up. I would just allow things to happen because I feared not saying the right thing. Now, when something comes up in my head, I can't shut up because I'm very confident in knowing that I can clearly express myself. If you're looking for ways to actually practice becoming better at verbal communication, look for things that you have to show up and do. So some people do Toastmasters. Some people, they volunteer to like lead a meeting, to be the host for something. Make the commitment to commit to something in which it by default and committing to it, the byproduct will be the improvement of your speech. When my pastor at the time in 2015 asked me to do the video announcements, having to do that every week was definitely probably 70% of my improvement was due to the fact that I had to show up every week using my voice for 8 years. And I didn't even realize it was that long. So what can you commit to that will allow you to improve? That will allow you to improve upon an area that you have the opportunity to grow in confidence in. That's the question that I want to ask you. A few other ways. If you have an opportunity and you have to speak, record yourself. So no one likes to watch themselves. And when I first began this industry, it made my skin crawl to watch my playback. It's so discomforting. And if you know anybody who likes watching themselves, there's a little like, I don't know, some type of narcissistic, egotistical, something is wrapped in that. No one wants to listen to their voice, and they definitely don't want to watch themselves on camera until you've trained yourself to look for what I'm about to show you, what I'm about to tell you. So one of the ways, if you're looking to improve your speech, you got to see, how am I speaking now? The only way you'll know is if you record yourself. So the next time you have to lead a meeting or you have to be in front of someone, have someone record you, not because you're being vain, because now you can only change something that you're aware of. So go back and watch yourself. Listen to how you are pronunciating your words or enunciating the words. Also look at, this is one of the things that I do, I look at my body language. This is going a little bit into the weeds, but 93% of what we communicate is nonverbal, meaning if I didn't say anything, I would still be communicating if I'm in front of a group of people. They would be drawing conclusions about me, about whatever. So what our body is doing while we're speaking is actually more important than what we're saying. And so I would look at that too. But again, that's going a little too deep in the weeds. So in addition to recording yourself, read out loud every chance you get. Instead of reading to yourself, read it aloud. Read it slowly. Read it using your facial gestures. so that you can practice what we talked about today. And again, if you want to make it fun, do those tongue twisters in the car with your children or your spouse. And this is something that you all can practice together. But again, I would be remiss if I did not tell you that improving your articulation and your pronunciation takes time. So be patient and keep practicing. And if you have an opportunity to commit to something that could improve your speech, do it. Definitely do it. I want to know your top takeaways from today. What did you learn? What did you learn in our time together? And sometimes I don't always see the comments as they're coming in live, so I'm going to pull up to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Because if you commented and I didn't bring you up on the screen, I may not see it. So what did you learn today? And while you guys are doing that or sharing that, one of the things I really like to do is when I encounter someone or I am teaching them is to make sure I left them with something that they did not know. And that is that it takes about 100 muscles. 100 muscles to speak. That's a lot of energy and effort on your body. 100 muscles to speak. So your vocal clarity is attached to your lips, tongue, teeth, the top of your mouth and your throat, your cheeks. So you have to use them all. Denise said, great information. Thank you, Denise, and thank you for sticking in till the end. If you had a takeaway from tonight, I'd love to hear it. I love to hear it. So I'm going to share this with you guys before I wrap up and close out. At the end of the series, I will be offering an opportunity if you want to work in a group setting to improve your speech. For the very first time, I'm going to be beta launching a program. And we all know what beta means. Beta is typically highly discounted. And so just letting you know that is coming. I'm just checking the live stream on YouTube to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then we're going to hop off for tonight. And hopefully you had a takeaway. Okay, Denise said, read out loud and and move my face. Yes, read out loud and move the muscles in your face. And know that it feels very silly. But when you listen to yourself, you will appreciate that you took in the extra effort to make those changes. So again, you got a lot of things that you can practice. We talked about using your facial muscles. We talked about practicing words, knowing the syllables, knowing where to go find them so you can say the words correctly, and doing tongue twisters by using your facial muscles, and also being intentional about the syllables in those words. And that this thing takes time. So those are practical ways in which you can do. Practice them with your children. You can read out loud, record yourself. And I'm excited to hear about your improvement. If you're really good, you document this journey. So record yourself now. Do a little short video and, put it in a folder on your phone. And then 5 years from now, come back and then you'll hear the difference in your voice. I already hear the difference in my voice in 10 years. So that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to be talking about tone. Listen, I'm probably going to be sweating next week because I got a lot to say. It boils my skin when people are yelling. I don't care how motivational you're trying to be, how spirit moving you are attempting to be, how profound you are. You do not have to yell. I just want to free people of feeling like they have to be loud to be heard or loud to be effective. And that is next week's topic, but it's rooted in tone. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. as we continue the Stage Power series. If you enjoyed this, share it with somebody. I'll see you next week at 8:30. Bye. You are excellence. Your mind is of excellence. Your visions are of excellence. Your unique superpower power is nothing short of excellence. You amplify a voice of excellence. Your contribution to this world will be of excellence. You will achieve your highest goals and desires with excellence. Excellence in everything, every time.